SoFi is in a very interesting spot, guys. Once broken off of this very extended ascending trend line, we were following for 3-4 weeks. We did enter a consolidation phase before gapping up from earnings, hitting our $25 price target, having a very hard end of the day being an inverted hammer candle, gapping down before pushing up strong from these lows, gapping up before pulling another inverted hammer candle, having a strong end of day from the bears, gapping down to fill this gap as we expected within the last video, perhaps going a little bit below, ultimately grinding back up. And that's what we did, guys. We filled this last gap. So this is the spot where, hey, do we see the buyers who have been very intense within these stock price levels continue to step up from here successfully and officially get the breakout? With that being said, guys, my name is Dylan from Dylan's Trades. We're going to analyze this technical analysis breakdown. First, going over to the weekly so we can get a very broad bird's eye perspective. Then we're going to go to the daily and the hourly to get a very in-depth price prediction. So first and foremost, guys, we're going to go on the weekly analysis, and we do this drawing within our last video. And this is still very applicable to as of now, guys. We've seen stock price enter a very strong uptrend before getting very, very dull. We had a quick movement up and then a strong yank down due to earnings. Earnings had a very exciting movement for the stock. We quickly went up. We hit our $25 price target, which is no mistake, guys. That was the price target we set out a couple weeks ago, and this does make sense. This is the number one resistance on the weekly analysis, being this IPO range high. So we hit a very pivotal level and topped out. It does make sense, guys. Technical analysis does work. We've seen the top out, and now we're right back within this consolidation phase, attempting to break over this. And the number one thing we want to note as of now, guys, is that typically when we see these very strong ascending trends, guys, with a very parabolic run on a big stock like SoFi that's been a beast, it's been outperforming almost the entire market. When you see this big retest and then you come back in this consolidation, and now we're actually working up higher. Note how the close is all the way at the top right here of this consolidation. Teetering right at that level, guys, where if we see a little bit more continuation, we'll say to be safe over this wick right here, we'll successfully be exiting this 4.5 week consolidation, now exiting this phase to have the momentum to go higher, guys. And after this point of view, any short sellers who are within the stock will get squeezed out. We push up higher, and we almost certainly retest this $25 level. So I do think that's what we're seeing, a pretty textbook setup as of now. If you see a strong downtrend, guys, and then stock price gets dull, a big movement down, and then a sharp movement up back to the zone. In this context, once again, you're more likely to come down to actually retest the zone, right? As the trend is your friend, the sellers are in control. But we're seeing an inverse effect as of that now, with a sharp movement up, consolidation, touch of 25, now a reclaim within the zone, and we're still sitting in here crescendoing over the top, guys. We're right at this level. So we look really, really good here from a weekly, but technically we still need to see continuation over that 2277 level. Technically, you know, you could argue a little bit sooner, guys, but we're going to say 2277, 2279, that rough range. If stock price gets over there and holds from a weekly perspective, we could be testing $25. If that, we should be testing $25. And if we break 25, should easily be going to all-time high, guys, and testing that $28.21 level. And if that is, $28.26, that is the all-time high. If broken from 25, should be a very easy test to there, guys. And if we break above that, that's a huge thing for the bulls, as now we're in all-time high territory. We've been seeing a lot of strong stocks surge over all-time highs. Hood, Palantir, we've been covering a lot of them, and they've been kicking ass, man. So there's a lot of, long-term future for SoFi here, and from a very long-term perspective, gun to my head, I'm saying we're hitting all-time high. We're going over, but we like to stay very, very, let's focus on what's in front of us, guys. As of now, we just have that $25 retest within play. That's very likely, but let's not look too far out, but it is pretty likely, guys. We'll focus on that as that does transpire. So we're looking at the daily analysis, guys, and what's very prevalent on the daily is that since we came on the channel and mentioned that this is the breakout candle, initiating the breakout, we sure got it, guys. We got a very quick surge up from the bulls, extending very, very intense on a parabolic run. We understood and established this trend very early at these lower levels. We end up staying on this trend line all the way up, guys, to 2279. Expecting a little bit of a reversion here. We got it. Pulled back into consolidation. earnings gap up, etc., etc. So as of now, the question is within the current next day, the next 3 days. Well, we still have this pennant look, guys. Better seen on the hourly analysis, but stock price is formulating lower lows, pushing down. Is this a spot where this is the next lower low to push down, or are we going to break over this level? And to the contrary, we've seen a lot of intense respect from the buyers within this ascending trend line. Note how almost every single day within this dip, it ends very high, right? We come back to this, we hit this level, very strong end of day. We come back and hit this level off a very intense gap down, pretty strong end of day. Once again, we hit this level, strong end of day. Every time we come down, even if it's a big gap down, right? We still just have a monster day off of this ascending trend line. So we've seen a much more, intense buyers within this area, guys, stepping up with a lot of respect, a lot of money on the line. So you definitely got to lean to the upside on SoFi overall on the weekly and the daily. Looking at next week, you got to think, even though we did hold a little bit flat over the last day, pushing Friday, would have loved to see just a green day explode over. Nonetheless, we do expect a breakout coming into the next week, eventually getting over this 22.79 level. And then from there, guys, testing $25. So we do look good. Expect a breakout coming into next week, guys. But what we do have to keep in mind is, are we going to break this daily low? As right now we're at the top of this channel. So from a technical perspective, from the next one day, are we going to drop below that $22 level? As we're sitting at this level, holding, consolidating, attempting to break out. So if we break this, we could see a little bit of downside before probably bouncing and getting the official breakout. But from a very short-term perspective, we're sitting within that. So from the next 5 days, 10 days, 15 days, there's a lot more confidence that SoFi will easily test 25, especially the way things are looking as of now. Within the next 1 or 2 days, could be a little bit more tricky come Monday, Tuesday, but if we see continuation over 22.79, could see the breakout right then and there. So we look very strong. A lot of, nice reward actually from the standpoint and not a lot of risk. Just really seeing how strong these buyers have been within this very intense range. With that being said, guys, we've analyzed the weekly and the daily. We've gotten everything we need out of these two to, get what we need moving forward. We're going to go jump over to the hourly. So we're now in the hourly analysis. This is good for the very, very minute activity for the next 1 day, for the next 2 days perhaps. And as of now, guys, we see what we talked about on the daily. Whenever we touch this ascending trend line, even if it's a very sharp movement down, we have an intense reaction to these levels. Very strong buyers. We get pushed down, gap up, and then we gap down to this level and just have a very strong movement from this, so guys, just looking at the psychology within this, we see a lot of excited buyers to get in this stock, expecting a move higher to break over this high, and we're seeing a lot of fragile sellers who could get short squeezed. So there's a lot of short squeezing opportunity when you analyze this chart. Just seeing how, once again, we found a lot of hardcore drops into just a harder version and the buyers ultimately grinding up. So if we see that sharp movement up over this 22.79 level, some exciting activity over that, and the bulls can hold over this level for 30 minutes, 1 hour strong. From that perspective, guys, we should be easily testing once again this $25 high. So we have set that $25 price target, guys, and we have hit that. But as of now, we are shaped up to actually surpass that price target within the next week. Retesting that from there, we'll see what happens. If we reject that level, we reject that level. But as of now, I'm expected to at least retest that, pushing into the next week, guys. Validating this pennant structure, which is getting quite tight, likely breaking out as of now. I don't think we're coming down for a retest to 2140 and my new dip to bounce. I think as of now, guys, we're actually just going to break out come Monday, Tuesday, but we will analyze how things are as we move forward. We're going to look at IWM for 30 seconds, guys. This is the overall market for the small caps kind of stocks, and we're in a very similar situation in a lot of ways with IWM. Note IWM is at the top of this ascending trend line, consolidating, attempting to get the breakout. When we go back over to SoFi, guys, SoFi, note how we're doing the same thing. We're right at the bottom of this, right at the top of this descending trend line, consolidating, trying to get the breakout. It's a little bit of a different structure, guys, but that's what we are seeing. So we should see a lot of correlation between the two. Perhaps we could see IWM, I would say, likely consolidate for a few more days. So I think this is going to neutral out come the next few 3-4 days, not really adding much to the SoFi analysis. So all in all, we should be expecting a breakout come the next few days. It does appear as of now that the buyers do have their last defense within this very intense region, likely pushing stock price to retest $25. If you guys found any value in the video, consider dropping a like and a sub. We will be continuing to cover SoFi 1 to 2 times per week. This is a very volatile region, so definitely drop a sub if you guys want to see that. We have been covering it since $13, calling the breakout. Having a very accurate read, guys. Very good and easy one to read. Very responsive to technical analysis. Alrighty, guys. Have a good one. Take care and peace.